And we are. So hello, everyone. Alejandro Tornado here, coming directly from Beaufort, Georgia, and ready to start another session of Alejandro and Bob Unplugged. And today we are going to be talking about I guess the word is enough, but enough is enough. And you heard that statement before. And I just want to pass the baton to Bob so he can definitely begin to dig into that word enough.
Well, hey, everybody. A wonderful, great, good day to all of you. I hope you're having a pura vida day, because those of us that have been to Costa Rica clearly know what pura vida is. And we didn't get enough when we were in Costa Rica. We got just enough, but was it really enough? Now, while you were introducing me and you were telling everybody that today's topic was going to be on enough, I suddenly thought about this thing from the other side, because enough could be like I was going to open up with a little bit of Italian and Portuguese, like espera and aspetta, and then just the plain Italian basta, basta, enough. But then you look at it from the other side, and so we'll talk about this from two directions today. Um, do you have enough, or is it enough? And I'm sorry I'm shaking here, I get excited. But where we're going with enough today is that I want to introduce a couple of other words. Are you being obedient or disobedient? And the reason I bring that up is because we're saying enough of excuses, enough of putting things out there in front of you saying, oh my gosh, I really wish I could be doing, I really wish I had, I really wish I could be just like, enough. And the reason I bring up obedience and disobedience, because I know, Alejandro, you will agree with me, because we've had this discussion many times. A couple of weeks ago, we did a broadcast on synchronicity. And we truly agreed that coincidences do not happen coincidentally. And how many times are you getting, as Paul Martinelli always used to go, boop, boop. How many times are you getting those synapse moments where something is going through your mind and you think that you may be the one to have originated that thought, when in actual fact, that thought may be coming to you, is probably definitely coming to you from a higher source, a higher plane. I think last week we were discussing matter, energy. Energy is neither created nor destroyed. It just is. And so enough. It's time to stop being disobedient to all of the messages that are coming through and start being obedient to all of the messages that are coming through, because clearly, unless you're really happy to have your feet stuck in concrete somewhere, or unless you're really happy to be treading proverbial water in quicksand, it's time to move on in obedience in the direction. And I purposely put this thing that's behind me. I don't know if you can see it. Let me just move my head. The road to your destiny awaits. So enough. And do you have enough of what you need to get you to that next obedient level? So I'm going to throw it back over to you now, Alejandro, based on that mouthful that I just came out with, and let you expand on that.
Well, I think that there are a few there are a few areas in what you said. Do we have? I guess for some people it's difficult to make the connection between enough and obedience, and some people may say, there's definitely no connection between enough and obedience. I think that there is, and it's just that do we have enough? I think that we are based on the studies that I have done, and based on the mentors that I had, and the people that I talked to. I think that it's very well established, the fact that we are very well, even if some people do not believe that, but it is a fact that we are fully resourced to do everything that we need to do in life, even things that we may think of that, for some, you could say, is this possible to be done? Yes, it is possible to be done, and you are fully resourced to get it done, but is to get into that mentality and mindset that says yes, is just taking one step at a time in that direction, and you will be able. As a matter of fact, I mean, this morning I was preparing a teaching on courage, and you know what happens? Some people are not some people, all of us. I mean, we experience fears in our lives. And is the fact that what makes the difference is that some people, when they're confronted with something that they need to do and they feel fear, they stop and they don't do anything else. And the other type of people are the ones that are confronted with the same fear, but they just push through and then they break through. And that is the difference. You know, it doesn't matter, I mean, how many doors are in front of you, but a person who pushes through is fully resourced to begin to and unlock the different locks of any door in order to open that door and keep going. So are we enough? Yes, I think that we are more than enough. Um, you know, when it comes to that word enough, and I said it to many people already, because some people they look at this statement that says, well, I am good enough, or you are okay because you are good enough. And it really cringes my whole being when I hear people saying, well, I'm good enough. No, 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 no. I am definitely not good enough. And I'm going to say it very aloud. I am not good enough. Why? Because I am more than enough.
I
Enough
want you,
is a
I want you to change one of those words while you're saying I'm good enough, for the person that's just saying, well, I'm good enough. I have enough. It's
uh,
okay. I don't need any more.
um, well, I have, yes, I am. I think that, I mean, we can view it, I mean, from different angles. Um, um, I am content with what I have. Now, does that mean that I am satisfied with what I have? No, I am not satisfied, because you always want something else, something more. But I think that the key is to be content with the enough that you currently have. And the enough that you have today may be very different from the enough that you'll possibly have in a year's time.
And part of that goes back to obedience and disobedience, because we're we're taught in some ways. In fact, you mentioned something earlier about breaking on through to the other side. And of course, I started thinking of the Doors song, Break On Through to the Other Side. But then I brought it back, and I'm realizing that people get right up to the point of the terror barrier, and they don't break through to the other side. But going back to obedience and disobedience, if an individual has not yet discovered what their why is, their purpose. In fact, some people may go through an entire lifetime without ever contemplating the question of what is my why, what is my purpose, and do I have enough to get me to that why, to that purpose. I want to put up another picture while you're encapsulating that, because I think that this bridge really speaks volumes here, because in many cases, sometimes we think we have enough and we stay on this side of the bridge. And sometimes we start crossing the bridge and we get about halfway over and realize, oh my gosh, do I have enough to carry me totally over to the other side with what's waiting for me on the other side? But how often do we turn around and come back to where we started from because it was comfortable where we were, but we still want to be on the other side? Do we have enough? Do we have enough obedience to realize that we're being encouraged? You know, mankind is unique in that we're always striving to take it one step further. We started with the horse and carriage. We evolved to the automobile. We evolved to the airplane. We evolved to the spaceship. We didn't have a smartphone until a few years ago because somebody said, what do I need to do to help people to deal with what they're dealing with on a daily, weekly, monthly basis? And is it enough? And so that smartphone that came out, what version do you have currently?
I think that I have like an iPhone 11.
11. Well, what would happen to just the iPhone 1? Would that have been enough? Now, to some people, they don't update every time there's an update because we're taught every time there's an update that, oh, we don't have enough. We need to have the next version because it's going to help us to have more than enough. But where I'm going with that is how many things that you look around the room. I'm looking at this bottle of water, and of course it's about half empty or half full. I know you can't really see it too well. Oh, there it is. Okay. But I'm thinking this bottle, this plastic bottle, did not start out as this plastic bottle. It started out as just a little itty bitty piece of plastic that somebody invented to expand it so that it could be this plastic bottle. So really, I'm focusing on obedience and disobedience today. Not that we intend to be disobedient, but I think we need to become more obedient to the signals that are coming through. Because the way I look at this is that somebody has been put on this earth right now who has the cure to whatever, or is going to invent the whatever. And if they're going to get hung up at the terror barrier, or they think that they've got enough, then the rest of mankind doesn't get to benefit from that because that dream never comes out and gets fulfilled.
But yes, I mean, I do see that, but I think that, don't you think that rather than um, rather than looking at it from the perspective of obedience and disobedience, which is, I mean, it's good, because if you have a dream or if you have a thought, and you can either be obedient to that thought and keep nurturing it, as opposed to being disobedient. But I think that also is to have the determination, I mean, to do it. I mean, not only being obedient, but to have the determination to actually pursue a dream that you may have, or a thought that you may have, or an idea that you may have. If I think that, yes, I mean, and once you are determined to do it, then I guess you are automatically being obedient, I mean, to that. But I think that, I mean, if people don't have the determination to follow through, um, then I don't think that this is just, I mean, for instance, on that bridge, yes, I mean, you have the desire to cross it and go to the other side. But I think that for some people, there is a fear of what would happen, I mean, halfway through that bridge. I mean, when perhaps I look down, I mean, would that bridge be able to hold me, I mean, all the way to the other side? I mean, these are very trivial things, and sometimes, I mean, very, very silly things, but it is sometimes those very silly things that stops people from pursuing and carrying on with what they want to do.
So as you were saying all of that, of course, I thought of Simon and Garfunkel, who wrote the song Bridge Over Troubled Water. And if you haven't heard that song in a while, I would certainly suggest you go and listen to it. It's quite profound. While you were describing all of that, once again, I was reading the signs behind you. And it's not about becoming a slave to the obedience. It's about working all of the parts that are being presented to you to put together to get that puzzle. And of course, sometimes the puzzle piece that you're looking for is on the other guy's table. You may have to get up and go look for it, because you may not have all of the pieces.
That's right.
To the puzzle that's before you.
Mm.
But clearly the sign that's over your left shoulder, I think I have that right, says, "Today I will make a difference with the enough that I have been provided with today."
That's right.
Now, I've started to do my 10,000 steps again. I started on the 30th of September. So today we're on the 9th. So I've done 100,000 steps in the last 10 days. And, you know, you get to that sticking point at around 7,000 something steps, and you say, well, you know, that's enough for today. Or is it enough? Because you've made a commitment, a goal. And do you fall short of the goal, or do you push through to get to that other side? And then when you get to 10,000 steps, you say, well, heck, I'm good for at least another 200-300 steps today.
And that's it. But when you are in the middle of doing something, I mean, if you committed, and that's getting into another topic that is perhaps being disciplined. And what is that? I mean, if you said to yourself, it's just keeping your own word. You know, sometimes it's very difficult for people to keep their own words. I mean, of course, they have to keep their words when you said to somebody else that you're going to do something, or when you are at work, because it is the fear of what is going to happen to you if you don't follow through with that. So you're fearful of the consequence if you don't do it. But when you commit something to yourself, then you know that you are not going to fire you, or that you are not going to do any harm to yourself, even if you don't follow through on that commitment. So you said, okay, I'm going to commit myself to walking 10,000 steps every day. And you go the first day, you do the 10,000. Then the second, third, fourth, when it comes to the eighth day, you said, okay, well, I did 9,000 steps. I mean, and my goodness, I mean, I'm a little bit hungry. So am I going to keep? And then is that when you come to that point, then is the two is like, I mean, you come to that fork on the road. I mean, are you going to say, and okay, I am committed to do it no matter what. It's another 1,000 steps. I'm going to spend another perhaps 10 minutes and I'm going to finish. Or you're going to say, no, I mean, I'm just going to be weak in my commitment and I'm going to quit today. I mean, tomorrow I'm going to get back to the 10,000 steps, but it doesn't matter. I mean, what happens tomorrow? What matters is what happens today. Because if you are weak today, then you are carrying that weakness with you for tomorrow. And tomorrow, that weakness has had some time to grow in strength. So when it comes to tomorrow, rather than getting to the 9,000 step, you said, well, I mean, I've done 7,500 and okay, I mean, I'm just going to quit. And so you keep doing that. And then in a few more days, you just stay at home and you don't even go for one step.
And to get started again is like you had to go right back to the beginning. You can't just pick up where you left off. And there will be times in your life, using the word enough again, where you suddenly, oh, enough already. I can't. No, you shouldn't let it get that far. But as you were describing the steps and the day 8, and it's interesting, again, going back to obedience and the little messages that are popping into your head, because sometimes your feet will hurt a little bit and it's like, oh gosh, I can't take any more steps, but you plow through. Or, oh my gosh, it's so hot today, you plow through because you've committed to yourself first. How can you, here's a good one, how can you commit to others when you haven't yet committed to yourself first?
Yeah, I mean, that's truly it. I mean, it's I mean, it follows on. I mean, how can you give to others what you do not have or possess yourself? It begins. How can you lead others when you have trouble leading yourself? I mean, everything is. I mean, it starts. It starts with you. I mean, it starts with me. It starts with the individual. You cannot extrapolate outside of yourself if you have not been able to do things. If I mean, uh, how can you possibly want to domesticate another or another animal if you're not being able to domesticate yourself? I mean, if you have problems with you, then definitely you are going to have problems with others. So it starts with looking inside before you can start looking outside.
So today, as we're coming to a close here, we've looked at enough from a couple of sides. We've looked at enough being, when is enough enough?
Mhm.
We've looked at enough being, do I have enough of what it takes? We've looked at enough to finally say, enough. I need to start listening to what is going on up here and over here, because there is a bridge waiting to cross. So, what call to action would you like to inspire our viewers with?
Well, I mean, there is this everybody has that kind of a moment that you said, okay, I'm going to do or I would like to start doing this thing. And whatever it is, it could be fear, it could be perhaps, I mean, that little voice of disobedience that says, well, I mean, but I think that it would demand some sacrifice, I mean, from me to begin doing this thing that I want to do. And it's just, you have to, I heard it many times. I mean, we need not only to ask other people the hard questions and having the difficult conversations with other people, but even more, we need to be having those hard questions with ourselves and saying, I know it's going to be hard. I know it's going to be difficult. I know it will require a lot from me. It will demand a lot from me. But if I commit to doing this, I will follow it through to the end. In my case, I will never, ever, let's say, enrolled in a marathon if I know that I will not be able to cross the finish line. Now, it doesn't matter that I will be first. No, 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 no. I will probably be the last. But that doesn't matter. What matters is that what you committed to, then you will bring it to fruition and to completion. Remember that great leaders of the past and people who have done great and who have contributed tremendous to humanity were not people who said, okay, well, I'm going to do this, and halfway through it was difficult and I said, okay, well, I made a mistake, I'm going back, forget about it. No, 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 no. They went all the way through. It took years. It took a lot of sacrifice. It doesn't matter. It didn't matter to them. They completed the task that they needed to complete. And that's why we reap the benefits of those contributions. So for all of us right now, if you want to contribute, if you want to make a difference, if you want to do something worth pursuing, then pursue it all the way. Don't stop an inch short of the goal.
And my call to action, which won't be as long as your call to action, is basically to agree with everything that you just said. And it may behoove you to get yourself a coach, somebody who will help you to get past whether or not you have enough or enough, but to help you to be obedient to getting to those new steps. And by the way, if you want to hear more of Alejandro and Bob Unplugged, and you certainly don't want to maybe watch us again, you can certainly download us on iTunes and Google Play under Alejandro and Bob Unplugged. And be sure to go back and hit that subscribe button for sure, because we have numerous podcasts published up there, as well as our respective YouTube channels. I know, Alejandro, your YouTube channel is under your name, which is over there. I should actually point over here because opposite sides of the recording here. And my YouTube channel is found under my name, Robert DiGiacomo. And you can also find Alejandro and Bob Unplugged there as well.
Yeah.
So seeing us just once may not be enough.
Oh, definitely. Yes. No, I think that it's I mean, there's very good content. And so just by reviewing or watching, even for the first time, I mean, some of the previous episodes, I think that you're going to get very good insights into different relevant topics. So having said that, and coming to the end of another episode, I just want to remind you to live every moment, be resilient, and also be kind, be passionate, be intentional. and live a life without limitations, because it is possible, and make every single day a limitless day. So thank you, Bob, and thank you, everyone. Until the next time that we meet, all the very best and be well. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.